Hey y'all. What's up? What's up? Happy Sunday. I hope you guys are well today. Hope you are flourishing and growing beautifully. So, today I want to talk about connecting with your partner. I know a lot of times I always be like the secret sauce to connecting with your partner is the secret sauce to the bomb sex is connecting with your partner. So it's many ways that you can connect with your partner, and you have to make sure that you are intentional with all of those ways. So it's not just going to be one way that absolutely is going to work for you. You're going to have to try multiple avenues. You're going to have to, this is going to be a journey. Like, it's not going to be something that you just wake up and be like, oh, we is on point, we is together. Like, it's not something like that. Like, good relationships are made. You know how good women and men are made by the things that happen to you throughout life? Well, good relationships are made. It just depends on the type of effort the man and the woman, or the woman and the woman, the man and the man put together. So, the way you connect to your partner is by actually allowing them a safe space. And it may be hurting you to me. Do you feel like you can tell me your deepest, darkest secrets and I won't judge you? Do you feel like you can trust me enough to tell me those secrets and not worry about whether or not someone else is actually gonna find out? Because one thing about being in a relationship, what goes on, those conversations that you have in between you and your spouse, please make sure that they always stay in between you and your spouse. Like, please make sure you're not going out telling your girlfriends, girl, he told me last night. Says it. We don't do that. What's between you and your spouse is between you and your spouse. So make sure that whatever they tell you, that you are woman enough or man enough to not tell anyone else. Make sure that you're creating that space in order to connect with them, so that they do feel like they can come to you with anything, because that deeper connection is going to be what allows them to be like, you know what, I can go a little further here, or I can go a little further there. Learning to understand your spouse is another way of connecting with them. Like, you have to study them. When they wake up in the morning, what are their steps when they wake up in the morning? If they miss a step, are they off? Are they rushing? Or like, what's going on? Um, what are their steps in the afternoon? How do they go to work? Like, pay attention to those small details. What do they do when they first get home from work? Do they like to eat first? Do they like to smoke first? Do they like to sit down and breathe first? Pay attention to all of those things, because you should be able to tell what your partner's going to need next. So if they are the type to come home, maybe sit down in the living room, take their shoes off, and grab a drink before they take a shower, you should have the drink sitting beside them. That's connecting with your partner. If they remove their shoes, do you walk by? And a lot of people might be like, well, that's a whole lot. It's really not. If they take their shoes off right there and you walk past them and put the shoes on the rack or whatever, that's not really a whole lot. Making sure that they are comfortable, making sure that you are there to connect and you're there to make their day easier or their life easier, that's how you're going to be able to connect to your partner more. Understanding why they love the way they love. I once told someone that we have the tendency to tell people, oh, well, this happened in my past relationship, so I'm trying to make sure it don't happen again. Don't do that. Pay attention to what your partner is doing. If they have certain ways that you might not agree with, ask them why they do that. Like, that's how, like, you don't have to tell people why, what happened in the past for them not to hurt you. You're supposed to allow them to want to know those things themselves. That's how you separate people who are for you and want you to do something for them. So if your partner do something, make sure you be like, well, why do you do that? What makes you tick that way? It's important. I know is a lot of us are already in relationships. So if you are already in relationships, make sure that you understand these questions too. Like, who taught you how to love? Because a lot of times we go into relationships and the person that we are trying to match our life with, they may not love the same way you love. So who taught you how to love? What was your first example of love? What is love to you? Because you could be trying to connect with your partner in a way that you desire to be loved, and they don't need all that. So like even down to how I just said, well, pick the shoes up, put the shoes down, make sure you guys drink. He might not need that, but he might want you to make sure that when he get out of the shower, his food is done. Or he might want you to make sure that you rub his back while he fall asleep. Understand what your partner need, and that's why I say all of this is not going to work for everybody, but you have to take and pick what you can use in order to connect with your partner, because we all are going to need something different. um Understanding how do they love. So I may love by saying, you know what, I love you, and by buying gifts and all of that stuff. But your partner's love language may be him making sure you're straight. Like him making sure you got gas in your car this week. That may be his way of saying, you know what, I love you. Like I really fuck with you because I'm finna take your car and go put some gas in it. Him calling you in the middle of the week like, are you good? That may be love to him. But to you, it's like, oh well, he ain't buy me no flowers. He ain't buy me no gifts. Like, because you don't understand his love language. So asking your partner, how do you love, or paying attention to the little things that shows you how they actually love, how they actually do those things, that is what's going to get you deeply connected, because you're going to start being able to basically finish their sentence, or finish their response, or finish what they need, and they're gonna be like, oh, she's really into me, or he's really into me, he's really paying attention, or she's really paying attention to the things that I like and the things that I do. And then when you go to this person and be like, yo, I noticed that you didn't do this, what's going on, they will feel more led to be like, well, you know what, this is really what's going on, this is really how I feel, this has been bothering me. And that is your crumb, that is your time to get them to open up deeper. The more they open up to you, the better connected you are. But you have to create that safe space. You have to show them that that is what you want them to do. Like you have to be able to be that person that they like, you know what, she changed my world, or he changed my world. I've never felt so safe. I've never felt like I could trust someone to actually love me unconditionally. Like, you have to make sure that you are connecting with your partner. All of these questions, y'all, make sure that you are on my email list, because I actually send you these questions to work through with your partner. How do you like love to be shown? Ask your partner, what do they want? A lot of times we go into relationships trying to love someone the way that a previous partner wanted to be loved, or as I said before, the way we want to be loved. How do you want to be shown love? What makes you click? Like, what makes you feel like I adore you? What do you need? Making sure that you understand what your partner actually needs. How are you used to being shown love? Because a lot of times we've been shown love in ways that we don't even want to be shown that type of love. Like, a lot of times we grew up and we wasn't even really taught how to properly love. So when you ask somebody like, what is love to you, sometimes they can't really explain it, because it's like what they have been dealing with all of this time is not what they feel like love should be. And sometimes you can show somebody something different and they be like, no, you know what, this is actually love. So understanding them is gonna help you get closer to them, help you be able to be like, oh, you know what, I bet you he need this. It's been a long week. He's been working late hours this Friday. I'm going to make sure I tell him, listen, I want you to get off early. I'm going to take you out. And you take him out and you do certain things for him that you feel like he would adore. That's how you are strongly connected with someone. That's how you get their body to tell you exactly what they need and exactly what they desire, because you are energetically connecting with them. Okay? Do you know how to receive love? Like, that is a one in a million question, honestly, because a lot of us are saying, yes, I just want to be loved, but in our reality, if you've never received love, it's hard to accept true love. I once posted a question on my page that said, if someone showed up to love you and it was not toxic, would you trust it? 99% of the people was like, nah, I wouldn't. So if your partner is actually loving you correctly and being there for you, are you trusting them, or are you throwing imaginary issues out there because you don't really know how to be loved or how to accept love? A lot of times we don't even know how to accept love. Can you accept those things? Ask your partner that so you'll know what y'all need to work on as y'all are building this relationships. Most of us, like I always say, go into relationships saying, I want this to last forever. If you want this to last forever, the only way to get a relationship to last forever is to constantly be working at it, constantly chipping away, because everybody coming in with some trauma. I don't care how good your life was, you got some type of trauma. You may have thought you had it too good. Like, you have some type of trauma. Nobody, because we all want something we don't have. That's why you often see rich kids in the hood like, oh, I want to do this, and hood kids like, why is you here? Like, because we all want something that we don't have. So we all have trauma. So chipping away at that little boy and that little girl is going to be what keeps your relationship functioning properly. Making sure that you can answer certain questions, making sure that when your partner is overwhelmed, they feel comfortable telling you, and they're not worried about you going to tell all of your friends or you judging them because they feel like they cannot handle something at this current moment. They don't have to worry about that because they know at the end of the day you got them. So make sure that you are able to accept and receive love, but ask them that, are you capable of love? Are you capable of receiving what I'm trying to offer you? Because a lot of times we find ourselves in relationships trying to love someone enough for them to see the value in us, and they don't. They don't see the value in us because they're not capable of doing it. They're not capable of loving us properly. They can't even love themselves properly. So they're not capable of loving you properly. So make sure that you are paying attention to those things. Asking your partner, why do you do this? Like, if you constantly see your partner short themselves, talk down on themselves, why do you do that? Where does that insecurity come from? Why do you feel like you're not? I always say pretty, because pretty is one of the things that most people kind of deal with. Why do you feel like you're not pretty? What about you says that you're not pretty? You have to get to the root of certain issues with your partner so they can feel like you are trustworthy. And like I always said, it may seem like a whole lot of work, but that's the only way it's going to work forever. Is finding new ways to better their life. Every relationship is supposed to take you to a different level. Any type of relationship that you're in, whether it's with job, romantic, it's supposed to take you to another level. So if you look at the fruits of you and your partner's relationship and it is not leveling you guys up, this is something that you need to be working on together. Like, what is keeping us stuck here? What is keeping us in this place that we are not leveling up? What is keeping you from striving forward? Are we self-sabotaging together? Are we too comfortable together? Do we spend too much time? Because you can't spend too much time together if you're not doing the things that you need to do to better the rest of you guys' life. Like, the whole point of the relationship is to make sure that you are moving forward. So if you are not together and prospering, you may need to look at your relationship and figure out what is it that is holding us back as a couple. And remember that as a couple, the problem is the problem, and we are the team that has to conquer this problem. Is not that you do this, you doing this, and I'm doing this. No, if you ain't functioning properly, I'm not functioning properly. So how do we get both of us back together? It's no I and team. It's all of us in here together. Asking your partner things like, do you question people's motive why they're loving you? Do you really feel like I love you for you, or do you feel like I'm loving you for a purpose? Like I'm here only for one reason? These are all going to be some questions that may be uncomfortable to you to ask your partner, but they are going to bring you guys closer. They are going to make it so that you feel like you can talk to each other about everything. Because think about this. If you ask your partner, hey, do you feel like I really love you for you? And he be like, I really don't. Like, I really think you here for this. That gives you some type of room to work and be like, nah, babe, like, I really love you. Like, I'm really here for you. And that gives you something to show them. Like, and it'll bring you closer, because it's like, I was able to be honest with her and she ain't fly off, or I was able to be honest with him and he ain't fly off. And that's why I always say, watch your emotions, learn how to manage your emotions, because some of these answers to these questions may send you overboard. Like, oh my God, this nigga think I don't love him. But if you manage your emotions, you can get to the bottom of why he feels like that. Because it may be like, He may be like, nah, I don't think you love me because nobody never loved me for me. Like, everybody always wanted something. It's always a motive. And most of our men feel like that. Most of our men feel like it's always a motive behind women loving them. So it's up to you to prove to your partner, or get your partner to a place where he feels like he's comfortable enough to know, nah, my woman love me. Regardless of whether I come here tomorrow and say, I don't got no job, she's still going to love me for me. Okay, and that's important. Like, a lot of our men feel like that. So being able to open the door for him, to show him like, nah, it ain't that. This ain't that. I really love you, will bring him closer to you, because he gonna feel like, oh, this is my ride or die. Like, this is my baby. Do you value yourself? How do you place value on yourself? Ask your partner that. How do you place value on me? Do you value me? What do you see in me that attracts you to me? How do you feel like us being together, us being joined together, is going to make your life a better situation? How do you feel like we can conquer the world? We can take over the world and build a future generation for our kids, our grandkids. What do you feel like we can accomplish together? This is going to bring you closer. Do you value your relationships? How much value do you place on this relationship? Are we important? Because sometimes we are trying to make things more than what they are. And you need to know that. Like, you need to know how much value is placed in the relationship. Where do you see this relationship going? Do you see, if marriage is something that you desire, do you see us getting married? If more kids are something that you desire, do you see us having more kids? If being millionaires are something you desire, do you want to be a millionaire? Because some people are comfortable being where they are. Some people are comfortable in high six figures. Some people are comfortable in low six figures. Some people are comfortable at 50,000, as long as they can come home to their woman and be good. If you are not comfortable there and your partner is, that is going to separate you guys eventually, because he's not going to understand your hustle, or she's not going to understand your hustle, and that's going to draw a wedge in between you. So making sure that you guys are on the same page will bring you closer. I'm telling you, being able to lay beside your partner and just be like, whatever comes to your mind, you can tell them, and know that when you wake up in the morning, it's still gonna be, hey baby, how you doing, how you sleep. It's such an amazing feeling. These conversations will bring you closer. These conversations, the sex behind these conversations, are going to be magnificent, because your energy is connecting. If you don't have this book, make sure you go to my website, eroticexpectations.com. Sign up for my email list. This book comes with the email list, as well as the Understanding of Vagina presentation. And it's basically a book of questions, and it's going to explain to you all of these questions to bring you closer. Do you understand your uniqueness? Ask your partner, how do they see themselves? Because if you don't have confidence in yourself, if your partner don't have confidence in himself, it's impossible for you guys to be confident together. It's going to be two broken people trying to mold themselves together. That's not going to work. What is your uniqueness? How do you feel like we complement each other? Do you understand what you have to offer? What do you have to offer me? And we all know the $1,000,000 question, what do you bring to the table? Most people bring to the table materialistic things that can be replaced, things that can be bought, things that you can pay somebody to do. That's what most people bring to the table. But what do you have to offer me? If I'm in here crying, can you nurse me back to health? Can you help me fight these childhood trauma wounds? Can you help me uproot those things? Can you help my day run smoother? Like, those are things that your partner is going to need from you. So are you able to do those things? When your man, can you make me feel safe? If safety is something that you require, make sure your partner makes you feel safe. A lot of us as Black women oftentimes didn't feel safe growing up. We probably grew up in households where may have not made it so that we felt like we was the safest. And that's important to us. Like, being safe. Like, I know for me, safety is very important. Being able to say, well, I know my man got my back. I don't got to worry about him saying, well, what you do? Now, even if he say that, it's going to be at the house. It's not going to be in front of all y'all. So Are you able to provide me the things that I desire, the things that I need? Um, do you see yourself as being worthy? Like, are you worthy of my love? Because a lot of our men feel like, oh, well, when they do get a good woman, I don't deserve you. Why? That's a trauma in itself. Like that's low self-confidence. Why you feel like you don't deserve me? Talking to your partner, asking your partner these questions are going, especially your man. Like, ladies, and some of us women need this too, but when it, and I'm so passionate about men because I have seen so many men break. In all honesty, like, I have seen so many men break. I have heard so many men cry. I have talked to so many men and nursed them back to health through friendships, through clients, through all of that. Like, I have seen it so much. So I'm big on, if you know that's your dude, let's get your dude together. Like, let's make sure your man is taken care of, because if you love that man properly, he's gonna give you that same love in return. And if he's not, that's not your man. Okay, so that's why I be real big, because I've actually seen a lot of men break. And where I have seen, I know some men that ain't shit. Like, I do. I know some men that use their life as a way to play the victim. I know all of that too, but that comes with discernment. And it do fall the same way for women. Like, you have some women that are prey on men or use certain things as victims for men, but all of these questions are gonna be what help you figure out whether this person is really for you, whether they're really putting on. Are they genuine in their answers? Like, if you ask somebody all of these questions, you have date night, whatnot, or whatnot, you go on a date or you sit down, y'all take a drink, and you start asking these questions, it's going to get emotional. If they don't get emotional at all, they're probably not being genuine. Even then, some of my fellas, they gonna get emotional. It probably get to the point like, man, why you asking me all these questions? Why we gotta keep asking these questions? They getting uncomfortable because they don't want to open up like that. But you have to make them feel safe. Once they feel safe with you, I'm telling you, that sex life is gonna be above top notch. Like, once you can create that space of safetyness, it's gonna be above top notch for real. Um, Understanding why people don't talk. One of the questions in here said, were you encouraged to feel, process, and speak your emotions growing up? A lot of us wasn't. A lot of us was not given the room. We ain't had no feelings. You couldn't eat after 9. Don't be in my kitchen. Make sure you in the bed. Well, I was growing up, we had to stay outside at 9. We drunk out the water hose. We only came in the house, I think we came in the house maybe at like 8:30 and ate dinner. Then we had to take a bath and go to bed. Like, and that wasn't my mother, but my mom always worked second shift. But we ain't had no feelings. Like, you ain't had no feelings. What you mean you feel something? Your feelings didn't matter. So a lot of us was not taught to express our feelings. We was not taught to open up. So then we get in these relationships and it's like, oh, this my boo, but you can't tell your boo what's going on. No. Do you know how to talk to me? Were you encouraged to express your feelings? If not, let me encourage you. I need you to talk to me. I need you to be able to open up with me. And this is something that you're going to do, like, with your forever person or with someone that you are dating. Are you able to open up? Because an emotional, unavailable person is no good at a relationship. I can tell you that now. I don't care how much you love on them. I don't care how much love you show them. I don't care how much you do for them. If they are not emotionally capable of giving you the things that you need or being able to communicate to you, it's not going to work. You're always going to be fighting tooth and nails to prove your worth to someone that's like, whatever. So if they cannot, and if they're not willing to, even if they say, I don't know how, are you willing to? Are you willing to work with me enough so that we can get these doors open and we can actually communicate with each other? Um, do you understand how to validate emotions? Do you understand how to validate your own emotions? A lot of times maybe I'm tripping. Maybe maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm doing too much. That's invalidating your your emotions. Like, that's telling yourself that what you feel is wrong. And no one can tell you how you feel. if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. You have to learn to communicate those emotions. Like, I feel like this, and it may be something that happened in the past. Like, it could be a trigger. Like, say you yell at your partner, and he be like, why you always yelling at me like you think you my mama, blah, blah, blah. That was the trigger. You yelling at him like his mama. Stop. He don't like that. He ain't liking when his mama did it, but he couldn't tell her nothing. So when he say something like that, be like, I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't mean to yell at you. And I can tone it down some. I can calm down. But I feel like you're not hearing me unless I yell. And at that point, he can then realize that maybe I'm not, because I'm so used to people yelling that it don't start clicking that she's asking me to do something until she start yelling, and then I get defensive. But in all reality, I wasn't paying no attention when she was talking softly. That's a whole thing that y'all done rashed out right there, and it's like, okay, come here, give me a hug. We good. We needed to get to the bottom of why we can't communicate. That just got to the bottom. You don't want me to yell, but you don't hear me till I start yelling. So hear me before I start yelling. Okay, I got you. And there's something's like, dang, I never really paid attention to that. That's why I don't like yelling. That, like, I'm telling you, it is very important. Asking them, how would you like for your emotions to be validated? Do you need what type of change of action? When your partner presents a problem to you, or when you are presenting a problem to your partner, try to come with a solution. But try to at least create a solution while you're talking about that problem. So if your partner tells you like the yelling thing, I don't like when you yell at me. Well, how would you like for me to talk? Because if I don't want to have to keep repeating myself, so how would you like for me to get you to understand what I'm saying? Solution. I'm telling you, communication is key. And I know everybody probably feel like, why I gotta communicate? Or I just want to have great sex. The only way to have great sex is to connect with your partner. The only way to connect with your partner is to get deep down up in their soul. You know how to snatch souls? Is to snatch it mentally first. You gotta be mental first. Sex is so mental. If you're not mentally connected, energetically connected, I don't care how good that cat is. It's not gonna matter. I'm sorry. It's not gonna matter. So make sure that you are getting to know your partner, everything that makes them click, everything that they desire, small things like little childhood things that may have traumatized them, or say they wanted. I've heard women tell stories about men wanting board games when they was little and they never got the board game, and they go and find the board game, and it means the world to this man because it's something he always wanted that didn't he never got. But it's small to you, but to him it's like, yo, she paid attention to the detail. Pay attention to the detail. Pay attention to how he reacts when things don't go his way. Pay attention to how he reacts when he's upset, because that's going to teach you how to react. Pay attention to all of that. It is super important, okay? So, like I said, if more questions are, how do you desire affection? How do you like to be touched? Touch is the key to sex. So how do you like to be touched? If you don't have this ebook, this is one of my free ebooks. It comes, like I said, go to my website, Erotic Expectations, sign up for the email list. It comes in the first email. It's a free ebook, but I'm telling you, it's a whole bunch of questions that you can actually ask your spouse. Like, y'all can have a date night. You know how I have conversation cards? It's basically conversation cards that I just put in an ebook. Talk to your spouse. Get to know your spouse. Get to know what makes them click. Make them feel like their life is so much better since you are in it. And I can guarantee you that your sex life is going to be magnificent by the end. All right? Have a great night.